Hello, this is Uncle Jim. It's snowing out. I was gonna shoot. So until then, I thought it'd be a good time to fix the handle on this MP 8 cavity mold here that uses the Lee style handle. And they kind of have a little cheesier wood or something on there, but the handle slipped off to open the sprue. So I'm going to fix that today. Now you can drill and pin it, but I don't like the unsightly pins, and so I'm using epoxy. And even Lee tells you to use epoxy if it happens to you with the Lee mold or handles, and it's worked for me. I've never had a problem after epoxying, and so what you want to do is take some brake cleaner and a Q-tip and clean out the wood part of the handle, and then degrease this, but you also want to file notches in it, and it doesn't have to be fancy. So just mark where your handle goes, about to here, and then go down a little further and just take a file and put some notches in it and do the corners and go all the way around on all sides, and that thing is never going to come off. I guarantee it. All right. And you don't have unsightly handles. All right. So I'm going to mix up some epoxy. This is degreased. That is degreased. Brake cleaner and rag, Q-tip, whatever. And then once you're mixing your epoxy, have some acetone ready in a rag to clean up your mess at the top, okay? But for some reason, I guess these handles fall off a lot on people, sometimes on a Lee. I'll show you an MP mold, a 10 cavity, where it was split in 3 places, and I epoxied that thing up, and that thing weighs 100 pounds. So if it works for that, it works for everything. All right. So let me mix up the epoxy. I'll show you what I did filing that. You don't have to be fancy. I like a file over a Dremel because it only takes a few swipes. There's no mess. And we'll go from there. Okay, these are really short. How much goes into the wood? So I'm just going to scuff up some lines with a triangular cheapo file. And I have it marked so I know how far I want to go in. I don't want to exceed that. I'm going to hit the corners to make a reference line. All right, it's nothing fancy. You're never going to see it. All right, so I like to get the corners and the flats. So now that I got the corner, I can go over and follow that. You can use a Dremel, but it's messy. This is just as easy. Just a few swipes, that's all you need. I missed that one. But it doesn't matter. You're never gonna see it. So we're just cutting grooves in it. And it only takes a few passes just to get something for that epoxy to grab onto. Actually, you can just go in between and just scuff it up, okay? So there you go, pretty easy. Maybe I'll get the end just once. Whenever you use a file on metal, go one way, don't go back and forth. All right. Again, it can be ugly, it doesn't matter. Just put some notches in it. And a file is just fine. Dremels, things like that, just make a mess. So do that, get the edges, the corners. Just scuff them up. Good enough. All right. All right, you can use any type of epoxy at the hardware store, whatever. You could probably use JB Weld, but I think that's a little thick. I prefer 24-hour epoxy over 5-minute because it's stronger. So we're gonna do equal parts of epoxy here, right here, and mix them together. And being 24-hour, I got lots of time to work with it. And we'll go from there. All right. All right, with epoxy, you want to make sure it's thoroughly mixed, and I like to change my little stick here so there's nothing on there like hardener or whatever. So I'm going to start with inside here. Now, after I filed this, it's a lot tougher going in before it was loose, and I also have it marked where I like it because it's kind of warped also. One goes this way, one goes that way. So I have it where I like it. And so we'll start with going down the handle here. And we'll get some down in the handle. I'm just using a skewer stick. Okay, and we'll get some down in there, get all that goodness, and then we'll save the rest for the metal. And then it's going to squirt out, and that's why you want your rag and your acetone handy. And I tell you what, this isn't going anywhere, and you don't have any unsightly pins. It looks stock. That's all you need. All right, so we'll start with that. This is also going to keep that cap on there too once it's all done. And of course, we can pin, we can rivet, we can do everything in our garage, but I just prefer the epoxy because it's clean and stock looking, and it really does work. I'll show you that MP tin cavity mold. That handle is held up forever, and it was broken in 3 places. All right, so we got our epoxy on here. Everything's etched. It was cleaned. And then now I'm going to mallet this on here to send her home. And then we'll clean her up, and she's good to go. And you won't have any unsightly pins. All right, that's going to squeeze out of there. Always save your plastic containers from stuff you buy at the store, because it comes in handy for stuff like this. So I have this marked on the way I want this to go on. Okay, and it's really hard going in after I took a file to it. All right, now I'm just going to take a mallet and send her home. And I'll turn that off camera. I'm just going to take a mallet and send her home. And we'll do that for no noise off camera. Okay, we took our mallet to it. Now we have our acetone handy. Ooh, it's kind of eating this plastic. But first I'm just going to take a regular rag. I could use a Q-tip and just go around here. I could leave it like that. That gives a nice bead all the way around the cap and everything. But to clean it up a little better, I'll dip a rag in acetone and just clean up the tip here, and then I'm going to let it stand on its own. Let's get this edge. There, that looks nice. See, you don't have any unsightly pins. Let's do a close-up. And this only took a few minutes. Let's go to the right hand. The left hand is the shaky hand, Mr. Shaky. All right, see that? That looks factory, it's clean. Now I'm going to just let it stand up and cure this way, so everything just goes down. Now that it's filed and everything, this is not coming out. Okay, and it looks factory. And this is going to retain the cap also because it got under. All right, easy schmeezy. Okay, so as far as epoxies go, you guys seen these, you can use them, but I never liked them because you never get them to squirt right, and then they dry out, and you got to clean the tips. I just don't like that. This one's going in the garbage. It served its life. I prefer the 2 bottles, more industrial style. They don't get mixed up, they don't get caked at the tips, and you can do the even amounts. I just like this. That's what my son uses for knives. And I like to keep my epoxy left out, just make sure that it cured and worked properly. So I leave it like that until it cured, and then I know everything was fine. And I pretty damn near guarantee you, let me take this off of here, that it, hang on, that it's never going to, are we focused? It's never going to come off. Here is a big 10 cavity mold I got from Pat. And this particular one had, oh, this thing is heavy. This particular one, this was all broken in 3 places. And you can see it's been epoxied there. It's been epoxied here and underneath and right around here. And guess what? It has never come off, all right? So if it can take a 500-pound mold like this guy, you're good to go. You don't have a problem. There's no reason to drill and tap and have ugly pins. Just epoxy it, and it'll be fine. All right? Now maybe we can do some shooting. What else? Oh, as far as molds go, okay, a lot of people are getting a little OCD on their molds. Like, don't open it. Take it apart and file the crap out of it and stone the crap out of it. Don't open it. No, you don't. The factory already opened and inspected about 500 times. Open it, look at it, see if it's scraping. I have some that I've never touched. I have one from Cranky, I'm sure he never touched, and he beat the crap out of that thing. That thing is molded so many bullets you'd never know, never been touched. It has one little swirl mark on the mold, but it's not touching the bullets. It doesn't matter. You don't have to get this crazy, people. And then someone else was worried about, now this has a steel sprue plate, the MP 8 cavity, okay? Someone else was worried about the Lees. They have aluminum sprue plate. Don't worry about it. It's fine. I have Lee 6 cavity molds. How many do I have? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10? Something. I'm looking over there. I don't know. I've never had a problem. Don't worry about it. Now, if you are getting a scratcher, yeah, just break the edge on the inside of the plate, but don't go crazy. Don't start, making it like it was not factory anymore. Try it. See how it works. Don't get over OCD. All right. There's no need for it. Anyway, here's the epoxied handle. It actually sucked in a little bit, so that's good. And when you file notches in it, it's going to hold. It's not going to come out. So whether it's the opening handle or your mold handles, to me, this is the way to go, and I've never had a problem. And I don't do anything unless it comes off. If one comes off, then I'll fix it. But I have a bunch over there I've never touched. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. All right, I guess that's it for now. I was hoping to shoot today, but I thought, hey, since it's snowing on me, see, I'm going to be shooting this guy with the stock barrel this time. And I'm not going to try and bullseye shoot with it. I'm going to shoot it as, designed. Boom, boom, boom. Hit the target. Center of mass. So we're going to do that when it stops snowing, maybe this afternoon. All right, so in closing, 24-hour epoxy works better than 5-minute or 15-minute. Go with the slower stuff. Take your time. What's the rush? All right, I'm not casting today. That thing could be sitting for months, weeks. But it's going to work. And I guarantee it. You don't have to worry about the heat or anything on the handles. Look at this guy. You think this thing heats up? Oh, yeah. And look at that. So I did that one a long time ago, and it is never coming apart. Nothing. Don't worry about it. Don't get over. Until next time, thanks for watching.